Am I the a-hole for forbidding my sister to meet my child and telling my wife to butt out of the situation? So the judgment is pretty much exactly as the title suggests. I will provide context though. I, 28 male, have been married to my wife 4 years and we have a 2-year-old son together. My older sister Ariel has 2 kids with her husband. She is my only sibling, but we do not speak and haven't since my wedding 4 years ago. My wife knew I had no relationship with my sister or mother when we got together, but now it's causing an argument. We were a pretty typical family until my mom cheated my senior year of high school with a coworker. My dad moved out immediately and I moved with him. This caused a rift between me and my sister. My sister believed, since my mom was sorry and it was a one-time thing as she claimed, which I don't for a second believe, and was trying to reconcile through the church, that me and my dad's refusal to speak with her was somehow wrong. I was 18 and my sister was 20. Long story, but eventually my sister stopped speaking with my dad. I haven't seen my mom since 2016, and we have only spoken once since 2019 when she tried to invite herself to my wedding. She was not invited, but my sister was, out of courtesy. My sister didn't show up and we have not spoken since. My wife knew when she married me that my only family was my dad and my cousins. She said it was okay and she didn't care. So, a few months ago, my wife got a call from my sister's husband whom I've never met, and he said that he wanted to start mending the bridge and would like to have me come meet their kids. I said no. Well, then my sister started sending pictures of her kids to my wife and my wife sent pictures back. I told her multiple times I did not like this, and she told me she could send pictures to whoever she wants. I said that if she keeps testing my boundaries, she will be a single parent really soon, that she signed up for me as is. My wife is saying it's wrong to deprive my son of his family. I said I don't even have a relationship with my sister or brother-in-law, so why should my kid? That it doesn't make me feel comfortable at all, and I don't even know these people. Also, any picture she sends could easily be forwarded to my mom and she needed to think about that. She said she doesn't even understand why my mom can't meet her kid, and that comment alone angered me because I've explained my family drama for years, and it feels like she just ignored it. I said she really needs to think about who she wants to appease, because I'm not gonna stand for disrespect of my boundaries. My dad totally agrees with me, and is telling me I should start setting aside money now for an exit strategy because my wife's behavior is exactly how my mom used to act, and I should see the warning signs now. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Your dad cut off his own daughter and his own grandchildren because they didn't want to participate in the public shunning of his ex. I'm sorry, but your dad is an a-hole. No, my dad cut off his daughter after she wouldn't leave him the hell alone, blasted him to family friends for not taking my mom back, and tried to manipulate him by not speaking to him for months when he tried reaching out, and calling him a deadbeat even though she was 20 years old. Lol. Then she didn't show up for my wedding, and that was the final straw. Your mindset is man-hating and disgusting. Get some help. Not the a-hole. This was all clearly defined at the beginning of your relationship. Why does she even care? Follow your dad's advice. Pretty much what I said. Why do you care? Her parents are close by. She has multiple siblings. My dad is involved. It's not like the kid has nobody. The only concern if you were to break up over this is custody. On her time, she could very well take your child to meet your mother, and there is nothing you could do about it. Sounds like his wife is doing what she wants regardless. And if she decides to take the kid to see his auntie or grandmother, she will do without Opie's consent. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter it's okay to use her mother for money? So, I used to be married to Judy, 36 female, and we have a daughter Scarlett, 13 together. Fake names. Judy never wanted kids, but I did, and I assumed she did too. We had her and Judy completely changed. She wasn't caring towards Scarlett, they didn't bond, and she blamed Scarlett for us losing our independence. About a year after, we had a divorce and she gave me everything. It did hurt me that she didn't even want to see Scarlett once a year even. She moved to Seattle months after, started running a business, got really fit, and her cousin told me she even got laser surgery to remove her stretch marks. Since then, Judy has moved to LA and divides her time between there, London, Mumbai, and New York City. She has become a fairly famous influencer and socialite. I check her Instagram every now and then, and she's been at parties with celebrities all over the world and seems truly happy. To her credit, every time her financial situation changed, she would come back and get our child support agreement changed to give more to Scarlett. Every time she'd come, she would spend time with Scarlett. She even kept it the same, even though my new wife makes a lot more money than both of us, and we don't need it now. About 3 years ago, she started calling more to talk to Scarlett. She would also come over more, and every spring break, she comes for those 2 weeks. She phones every night unless she's in London, Mumbai, or New York, in which case she just sends a text. On New Year's, she was at some celebrity's party but still took the time to phone. Now, I'm not saying that this makes up for anything, but she has been a presence in Scarlett's life. Well, we just found out that Judy's grandfather is very ill and is going to pass away within a month, maybe early March at best. So, she's going to India for spring break for his funeral and has requested to take Scarlett with her. I'm fine with that. My wife is fine with that. However, Scarlett got really upset at the idea of spending 2 weeks in India. I pointed out her mom will take her to all the nice places. She'll get to see great things, meet that part of her family. But she said that is not fair. So I pointed out that at the very least she can get whatever she wants out of her mom in those 2 weeks. My wife overheard and said I was an a-hole for telling Scarlett that it's alright for her to use her mom for cash since she has barely been in her life. I pointed out I didn't say that, but we argued, and since then I realized what I said kind of did amount to that. Was I the a-hole? Edit. Judy never told me she did not want kids. She allowed me to believe she did. If I knew she didn't, we would never have gotten married. You're the a-hole. If Scarlett doesn't want to go, don't make her go. Advocating for taking advantage of her mother is crappy. Is it wrong to point out that even if she won't be her mom's full attention, she can still get whatever she wants for those 2 weeks? I'm not telling her to drain her mother's savings account. Yes, this is wrong. You're teaching your daughter that time with people is transactional. Like if I go with mom, I get stuff, rather than allowing her to get to know her mom as a parent, not a bank account. Also, you answered your own question about why your daughter doesn't want to go. She won't be her mom's full attention. You've been her stable parent, but now you're trying to force her to be around strangers with no safety net. Her anxiety is valid. Stop forcing her because you want to be petty towards Judy. You're the a-hole. Scarlett got really upset at the idea of spending 2 weeks in India. Your kid doesn't want to go to India with someone she barely knows. Why would you push her on that? Because it's good for her. Not if she's freaked out about it. That's not a mindset where she's going to get something good from the trip. The main thing she's going to get is that you, her dad, don't care about forcing her to do something that feels unsafe just so you can get some petty revenge on your ex. So, your message to your daughter was, it's good to let other people do things with you that make you uncomfortable as long as they pay you. Great parenting. No way that message could go wrong. You're the a-hole. What I meant was, her mom can give her anything on that trip, and probably will give her that, so there's no harm in her going. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my husband to not drink on his 30th birthday? So me, 25 female, and my husband, 29 male, are expecting a baby somewhere in the next few weeks. I'm currently 35 weeks pregnant, and my husband's birthday is in 2 weeks. We were discussing the event yesterday, and I absolutely don't mind him celebrating it, and is very excited because it's his 30th. But I told him that since it's pretty close to my due date, I want him to not drink in case he needs to take me to the hospital. Now, I know the chances of that happening exactly then are slim, of course, but it's not impossible. I told him that I don't want to have to be taken by a cab and I want him to take me, as I don't want to be screaming in pain and potentially wetting myself in someone else's car. He said I'm being silly, and that there's no way I would go into labor in that time frame when he will be celebrating, and that he should be able to enjoy a drink with his friends, and that is not fair. I told him I haven't enjoyed a drink in 8 months, and it's really not a big deal. Am I an a-hole for asking him this? Edit. He wants to celebrate the birthday at our place, which is outside the city, so it would take a long time for someone to drive to our house and then all the way back. I understand that probably most births don't happen fast, but both my mother and grandmother had very quick births. I also understand there's plenty of situations where he might not be able to drive me personally, like if he's broken his leg or whatever, but these situations I can't predict. I'm not trying to control him. I very much encourage him to celebrate, but he's a lightweight, 1 to 2 beers, and is already tipsy. And no, I'm not mad because he can drink and I can't, and I'm not just being a mean woman. This is my first pregnancy, and honestly, I'm terrified of giving birth. Maybe it's not that scary. Plenty of women do it every day, I know. But things happen, and you never know what's gonna happen to you. And I need him there. present and sober, and I want to not have to worry if he's all there. Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. And I say this as a woman with a toddler and a baby. Let him enjoy his birthday. It's going to be way harder to do things once the kid is there. The odds of going from absolutely no signs of labor to ready to go to the hospital in the course of a few hours is very unlikely. Is he planning on getting so absolutely drunk that he can't stand up for 2 days? My sister-in-law gave birth in the ER waiting room because they didn't make it on time to get her checked in. My niece was 2 weeks early too. Is having a drink or 5 really worth the worry it causes to your pregnant wife and the risk of missing something that relevant? Surely it's possible to make a game plan just for that night. Designate a driver who can drive OP to the hospital just in case she happens to go into labor that night of his birthday. OP's husband can agree to limit his intake to a few drinks, so he isn't very drunk. I feel like there's room for compromise here. No a-holes here. I can see both sides honestly. It's a big date. Can you make arrangements for someone else to take you in the unlikely case that you go into labor? OP explains that she doesn't want to be in that vulnerable position in front of someone else, which I think is totally valid. It's not unreasonable to expect the child's other parent to be able to take her to the hospital. Not the a-hole. I can see how it might be awful for him, but if he can't make small sacrifices now, he's in for a rude awakening once he's a father. I'm sorry, but 1 drink is not the end of the world. The odds that she goes into labor within 2 hours of him having a drink or 2 on his birthday at 37 weeks pregnant is so low. I'm a father of 2 kids. I still occasionally have a drink or 2. Being a parent doesn't mean being dead. Last story. Am I the a-hole for missing an actual emergency because I turned off my phone to avoid my wife's unnecessary contact attempts during my tech-free weekend? My best friend 31 male and I 27 male have a tradition of taking a yearly weekend trip together that's phone-free. We've been doing this for a decade now. These weekend trips consist of us staying in a suite and exploring the city, not traversing the wilderness, so it's not like we're completely disconnected. Still, we like to keep one on hand for navigation and emergency purposes, and it would usually be friend's phone that we brought along. Friend and I left for our trip this year 2 Fridays ago to make sure of the long weekend. This was the first time I've gone on one of these trips since my wife and I moved in together, got engaged, or got married. However, we were dating for the last 2 years worth of trips, 2021 and 2022, and she seemed fine during that time. I would just tell her I was going to be busy for the weekend and she'd leave me alone. I understand that there are different expectations once you get married, but I didn't expect for the 180 behavior. My wife all but demanded I take my phone as well, in case she needed to get a hold of me despite her having friend's number. I let her know I had arrived, and immediately after that she was texting me and asking me how things were. Then again, asking me another question when I didn't respond to the first one. I eventually muted our text conversation because I was sick of the phone buzzing. She called me a few hours later and asked why I wasn't responding to her texts. I reiterated that this was supposed to be a no-phone weekend and kept the call short despite her trying to drag out the conversation. She called me once more after this. When I answered and found out it wasn't an emergency, I simply turned off my phone. The calls then started coming in from my friend as well, and he followed suit. We spent the rest of the weekend with our phones off until the drive back on Monday. I called my wife and informed her when we were about 30 minutes away from my place, and she was furious. She said that there ended up being an emergency as her sister got into a car accident that won't affect her long term but still resulted in broken bones, and that I had just ignored her the entire time when she needed me. I told her that I was very sorry to hear about her sister, but it wasn't my fault she had essentially forced my hand into cutting off means of communication. She went to stay with a friend before I arrived home that night and has since came home, but she's still fuming. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I'm politely asking everyone to stop making harmful accusations about my friend and the nature of our relationship when we were younger. It's making me uncomfortable, and not in the I'm having an epiphany way you guys are hoping, but in the you're jumping to incredibly crude conclusions about someone I love and trust, based on a tiny snippet into our life. Not the a-hole. Her sister getting into what sounds like a relatively minor car accident is not an emergency. This is beyond ridiculous. How is it different from you being in another country and having no service or something? People are allowed to still live their lives despite being married. You're not tethered to your spouse. Oh yeah, minor broken bones aren't an emergency. Definitely not the least bit life-threatening or altering or anything. I agree the wife should have respected boundaries, but it's not exactly minor and can be very scary for not only the person, but the people waiting on word from the doctor during/after surgery, which is also not minor. So I can see why she's mad she couldn't contact him. Again, her fault for not respecting boundaries. Not the a-hole. I have the odd feeling that she almost wanted there to be an actual emergency so she could feel justified in bothering, and might have created one if it didn't occur naturally. She desperately doesn't want you away from her. You'll need to have a serious conversation about that. I had a summer thought that she was sabotaging the tech-free weekend. If friend can't relax because he's fielding texts, then Opie can't relax either, and it's a win for her. She sounds awfully insecure and exhausting. I second the insecure comment. It's as if she had to keep in constant touch with Opie because she suspected something. Okay, but she's insecure because in the comments he implies he used to date his friend. Am I the a-hole for continuing to cheat on my wife with a guy who groomed me when I was underage? Update. Am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my husband after he stole from me? Original post. When I was 5, my Nana gave me her tea set. It was given to her by her mother. My Nana had no daughters of her own, and I was the only girl of her 11 grandchildren, so she gave it to me. It's a full bone china set. I don't know if it has monetary value, but its sentimental value is immeasurable. I have had it, kept it, and used it for nearly 28 years. I wanted to pass it down to my own daughter or granddaughter one day. My husband knows all this. His sister and her family came to stay with us for a week. Whenever I have little girls over, I pull out my tea set for a tea party. I make tea sandwiches, scones, cakes, and biscuits. My Nana made tea parties a big deal with me, and I carry that on. So me, my sister-in-law, and her daughter had an afternoon tea party. It was a couple of weeks after that when I had my friend and her daughters coming to visit. I planned a tea party. That morning, I baked, made sandwiches, went to pull my tea set out, and it was gone. I keep it in a cabinet in my kitchen. I wash it and put it away every time until the next time. I went a little mad looking for it. The visit came and went. I spent days tearing my house apart looking for it. Every cabinet, drawer, cupboard, the whole house was turned inside out. My husband even helped me. He was insistent that it couldn't have grown feet and walked away on its own. That's what gets to me. He knew damn well where it was, but he pretended that I had misplaced it. He knew how upset I was and tried to comfort me with promises to buy me a new set, as though a new set could replace my Nana's. A few weeks later, he came home with a cheap, thin-looking set that he bought at Walmart or something. I threw it in the bin. Call me ungrateful if you want. I don't care. I was ungrateful. Something you treasure, something of great sentimental value given to you by your long-dead Nana, cannot be replaced no matter how much, or little in this case, the replacement cost. Then I heard my husband on the phone. I heard him say that when we visit, to put it away and tell Melly not to mention it, because I'm still upset about it. He didn't say the words, tea set, but I knew. I knew that's what he was talking about. I walked in while he was still on the phone and called him a thief. He was like a deer in headlights. He quickly hung up and tried to explain. I wouldn't hear it. I told him to get it back. His sister called me, and I called her a thief. I told her to return it in the same condition she took it, or I would be calling the police. Then I hung up on her. My husband tried reasoning with me. He told me his niece loved it so much, and that kind of thing really is for little girls. He said he was going to talk to me about leaving it to her anyway, so where is the harm that she has it now? He said I was too old to be playing around with kids' toys, and that I really should grow up. He said I was immature and it means nothing. What he meant is that it means nothing to him, so I should forget it. The next day, I not only went to the police to report the theft, I also called my brother who lives in the same city as my husband's sister. My brother went around and got my tea set. My husband was livid and spent a couple of days calling me a lot of derogatory names. His tune changed when he came home to find me packing my stuff. He stole from me, pretended he didn't know anything about it, insulted me, and tried to gaslight me. Now he's saying how sorry he is and that we can work this out. I don't think we can. I look at him and see someone who steals from me, lies to me, makes me feel small, someone untrustworthy who doesn't care about me. 2 of my brothers will be here tomorrow to help me move. I'm taking everything that means anything to me because I don't think I'll see any of it again if I leave it with him. We can fight it out in court about the rest. I've been told that I'm an a-hole to leave him over a tea set. But it's not just a tea set. It's my Nana's history. It's my history. It's years of happy memories with her, with my mother and other female relatives and friends. He stole all that from me when he gave it away. Am I the a-hole for calling it quits? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Your husband is an idiot. It's not about the tea set. He lied to your face, stole from you, and told his family to lie to you as well. Why did he give it away in the first place? I can't understate how idiotic that was. Because he hated that it made her happy. It's that simple. I believe this to be a true statement. It's only taken me this long to really see it. Start recording your interactions with him. He will turn abusive at some point, and this is where you will need to have it recorded so you can file a restraining order. Make sure to double-check everything of value is packed and photographed, and inform him it will be double-checked on the day you leave, so he better not have any new funny ideas. And if he even thinks about raising his hands to you, you and your family will make sure his life is ruined. He is a weak man and a liar, a fool who threw away his marriage because he wanted to steal a kid's tea set from his wife and wasn't even man enough to admit it. He tried to have his family lie about it as well. For his sake, he better make the divorce smooth. If he tries to cause problems, make sure he knows you will go public and make him the laughingstock of the entire city once you are done. Not the a-hole. Out of curiosity, what did his sister say about all of this? I mean, she obviously knew that it was given to her without your consent. And your husband obviously knew what he did was wrong, which led to the lying and gaslighting. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself and leaving him. Lord only knows what other BS he'd get up to if you stayed. Please get the set appraised. If it's a complete set with all the cups, saucers, plates, teapot, creamer, sugar, etc., it'll be worth a lot. And that's before you consider that it's probably at least 80 years old. If you're going to press charges on your husband for the theft, this will help to bump up the severity. She said she didn't think I would mind, that it didn't seem like that big of a deal to her. But if that was the case, why did she not talk to me about it before she took it? Why was she talking to my husband about hiding it from me? My brother, who went to get it for me, wants to have it appraised before he brings it back. The monetary value doesn't matter to me, but I see the logic in having that information on hand to help my case against him. Now for the update. Just a tiny one because it's only been 4 days, but my inbox is collapsing under all the message requests for an update. I am moved out. 2 of my brothers and 2 of my cousins helped me to move. I took videos before, during, and post my leaving. There was some unpleasantness prior to their arrival, but their arrival brought that to an end. They came with a moving truck, a whole truck. All I had packed was some luggage with my clothes and a few boxes of other stuff. But they filled that truck, and I have the soon-to-be ex on video helping them laughing with them. But when I gave him my house keys, he was not looking at me with any love or regret. The plan was to move back in with my parents, all my brothers, the 2 cousins that helped me move, and another cousin had a meeting of the minds on FaceTime the night before coming to help me. My brother who retrieved my tea set opened his big mouth about the tea set situation, and they've become suspicious of just about everything. Due to those suspicions, they decided my plan was rubbish and came up with one of their own. I was moved into the 3rd cousin's home. He has top-notch security, cameras, sensors, monitoring. You name it, he probably has it. My brothers have not let up about their suspicions. Suspicions are all they have, and I'm going to see it stays that way. I am not going to tell them anything. I love my brothers and I love my cousins. I do not want to spend the rest of my life visiting them in jail. I've taken some of the advice people offered, like the videos, making a missing items list, and I'll be looking for photo evidence of these items. I have already spoken to my uncle's wife, the divorce lawyer. I was going to go with someone else because she's family, but she's bound by lawyer-client privilege. I have not blocked him, so all the voicemails, SMS, and Facebook Messenger messages he's sending are getting through and being saved. I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out, but that will have to do for now. I am moved out. I am safe. Thank you, everyone. I'll let you know when I have more to tell. Have you asked him about the other missing items? The divorce lawyer should at least get you the money value back in the divorce, even if you can't put a price on the sentimental value. Not yet. I want proof that I did actually have them. He will either deny taking them or say I never had them. So I want some kind of proof that the items were in my possession if that happens. Please make sure your joint savings accounts are emptied. Change all your banking and internet passwords, please. Also, I am very sorry this is happening to you. I am glad your family has your back. I did that before I left, even canceled my credit card just in case. The tea set was wrapped in bubble wrap and the niece didn't even use it? Makes me think the sister found out what it was worth and got her brother to steal it under the guise of, niece wants this child's toy. If you love her, you'll get it for her. Regardless of her motivation, he really knocked it out of the park. The lies, the gaslighting, the dressing you down like a child, all of it was him. It's not about a tea set. It's about you finding out you're married to a scumbag and acting accordingly. Like a freaking queen, I might add. I picture you sipping tea and swiping Bumble pinky out. I think they were in it together and this was planned. Next story. Would I be wrong for divorcing my husband who thinks he's disabled? Original post. My husband, 34 male, and I, 32 female, have been married for 2.5 years. We were together for about 10 years before that. 2 months after our marriage, father-in-law's dying wish, we lost his father, and 6 months after that, we lost his mother. He always had anxiety and was a hermit for the better part of 3 years before getting help, at my and his mother's insistence. After their passing, he fell into a depression and lost his job, and he's been unable to keep every job since, whether due to his anxiety or stomach issues triggered by anxiety. We have been making it work with just my meager income. My primary issue with him is that he doesn't do anything around the house, trailer. He doesn't clean. He only cooks half the time and only dinner. He doesn't help with half our pets, leaving it up to me to feed them and let them out to potty. He doesn't do any laundry unless he needs something washed, or I ask him 5+ times. Any extra income after bills and food, he always has a plan for, whether it's items for his reptiles or games. He has expressed that he no longer loves me, but wants me to remain as a friend/roommate. To me, it feels like it's only because I'm paying the bills. He swears he'd qualify for disability and will apply to help with bills, but the only doctor he's seen is his PCP. Am I in the wrong for wanting to divorce him and move, leaving him in a spot where he may lose the trailer he inherited from his parents? Now for the comments before the mini update. You're not wrong. My ex-husband got into a similar funk around the same age. He did end up getting on partial VA disability. I basically felt like if this was going to be my life, I didn't want to keep living, busting my butt every day, dealing with a slob who putters around all day, spending my earnings and contributing nothing. Then we wanted kids, and I realized I was already tapped out taking care of my husband. I left him. It was the best decision I could have made at that juncture. He's fallen apart and I feel for him, but it is not my job to fully support a grown man who won't lift a finger for himself, let alone for me. I'm much happier now. I found a great guy I'm dating who has a decent career, is fiscally responsible, picks up after himself, and washes the dishes every time I cook. It's like night and day. Be ready for him not to understand though. My ex had told me he wasn't attracted to me anymore, and we slept in separate rooms, yet he still thought it was horrible of me to leave him. He did seek alimony. That does put things into perspective, so thank you for sharing. I was wary about alimony. After all, he has no income and I wouldn't be able to support multiple households. I've never gone through a divorce before, and I feel like I'm getting in over my head. Consult with a lawyer. but alimony is rarely awarded and doesn't sound like you make enough to pay it. In general, you need to be married a long time for that to happen. It doesn't sound like you'll have lots of assets, but more like debts. Mini update. I have decided to file for divorce and try to get the trailer and car. Without me, he would lose the trailer in a month. It would allow me a clean slate to start afresh on my own. He has not changed and will not change. I'm sure in time I'll find a true partner in another. If not, I'll be a cat lady then. Last story. Am I wrong for telling my husband things will get done, with or without him? My husband and I have been together for almost 11 years. When I met him, I was doing everything by myself, independent woman and all that. I would work, pay bills, etc. No, I wasn't depending on anyone to run my vehicle here or there. I was minding my business. He was the one pursuing me. When we married, I was taking my SUV to either Tires Plus, Jiffy Lube, or Pep Boys. Why? Because I could get in and out quickly. Just swipe my card. Then, he started looking for ways to save money because I was spending too much at the shops and volunteered to take care of my vehicle maintenance. The downside is, I have to wait when stuff is done by him. I'll admit that I might be a little irritating when it comes to my SUV. I'm traveling more now, so when I see it's almost time for an oil change, I'll ask my husband at least 2 weeks in advance. The dealership even sends me a text reminder that it's time for an oil change. I purchased the oil and watched it sit there for a week. Then I noticed him changing the oil while I was in my office working on an invoice. My husband came to me asking what I would do if he wasn't here. I was like, "What are you talking about?" Then he said, "I changed the oil and you didn't say thank you." I was thinking, okay, am I supposed to thank you for everything? I bought the oil. Then he became upset and walked off. I was like, this stuff will get done regardless. I'm not sure why he was so mad. I had to wait. He knows I need things done right away, and I have to reschedule clients when he takes forever to finish the task. Am I wrong? I get both sides on this. I totally absolutely get your point. Him being like, what would you do without me, is pretty hard to answer without saying, pay someone and actually have it done when I want it to be done? That's me to the bone. But also, thank you is free, and positive reinforcement is useful. Say thank you, be grateful, and it's more likely that next time he will do it more on time, because he'll get gratitude and a fuzzy feeling. That sounds mercenary, but people run on good feelings. And if you can give someone one at no cost to yourself, then why not? I don't think it's a completely honest, serious question he's asking. I could be wrong, but it sounds to me like a cute way to communicate that he performed a service out of love for the other person, and that he's planning to keep up that level of service in the future. If I responded to such a comment the way you did, I would make sure to say it jokingly, so the other person still feels appreciated and valued. If I have a long-term partner I want to stay with as long as possible, and she asks whether I need her in my life, I'll just say yes, even if I know I'd technically survive without her. You don't have to be literal when it comes to words of appreciation. So you've been married 11 years and you feel it's appropriate to respond to a little comment he made with total indignation and a vibe of, I don't need you? It seems that your husband, like the majority of men, was or would be hurt by commentary from his spouse indicating she doesn't need him. People like to feel needed by their loved ones, and the lack of empathy on your part isn't a good quality. I understand this now, my apologies. Edit. I'm wrong in the situation. Honestly, because I forgot to mention the oil was purchased after the 2 weeks passed. No one wants to say he was in the wrong after he volunteered for the task and completed it late. Date. I, 25, female, begged for an open relationship. 8 months in, he leaves me. 8 months ago, I, 25, female, asked my partner, 28, male, for an open relationship, as I got bored with him. Nothing wrong, but he just didn't excite me much, and he agreed. But he proceeded to tell me there's a catch. If he catches feelings for a partner, he's going to leave me for her. And that's exactly what happened, and I want him back in my arms. He left me for his new partner, 29-ish female. What can I do to win the love of my life back? Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Not gonna lie, that's the ultimate reverse card for this situation. Big ups your ex. Really? Yes, really. You played yourself. He didn't excite you, so you asked for an open relationship, and now you want him back when he caught feelings for someone else. While in the open relationship that you asked for in the first place? You only have yourself to blame for this one. You should stay single for a while and grow up. I don't want to be single. I want to prove to my boyfriend I can be better now. He spelled it out for you. I am inevitably going to break up with you. I am agreeing to an open relationship so I can look for a new partner. Don't be surprised. You're now sleeping in the bed you made. But I have a way to get him back. Go to sleep and dream that he's back in your arms. I didn't take that seriously. I didn't think he'd mean it. Now for the first update. Probably nobody asked for this, but here's an update. I was kicked out of his house last Sunday. That's 6 days now. And I excruciatingly miss him. I will do anything to get him to return to me, but he looks happy on social media with his new partner that I'm pretty sure he was cheating on me with. Anyways, I tried calling him. No answer. I saw him in public and he pretended to not even know who the heck I was. He won't acknowledge my existence, so I went to our former place just to talk, and things got hostile. His new girlfriend hates me for some reason. I didn't even know her and she proceeded to try and attack me, while he tried to split us up and get me out the door. When he had his back turned, she maced me, and now he's trying to file a restraining order on me. The hell did I do wrong? She attacked me and pepper sprayed me. How can I convince him he's dating a psychopath? You brought this all on yourself. He didn't cheat on you. You asked for an open relationship. This is the result. He dumped you for someone that loves and respects him. The only course of action you have open to you now is to walk away and get therapy. I'm in therapy already. You need to find a better therapist, because this one's not working. Honey, you have to leave him alone. You opened up the relationship because you were bored. He told you he would leave if he found someone new, and he found someone who doesn't treat him like a backup sex doll. What are you expecting? Things can't just go back to normal. It's far past that point. You like the chase, not the prize. You just get bored again, and the cycle would repeat. I won't this time. When you say this time, I hope you're talking about the next boyfriend, because you are likely not getting back with your ex. Second update. This will probably be the last update. The restraining order has been filled, and I am not allowed within 100 feet of my ex and his new girlfriend. I'm planning to move back to my home in Arizona and start over. They're happy, and I just want to find peace with myself. Thanks for everyone's advice and opinions. Yes, I was already in therapy, and I am still in therapy. Please, anyone my age or younger, listen to my advice. TikTok is not cool. Please delete it. It's done me nothing but harm, and other people's stupidity can really poison your minds. I'm living proof. Thank you and take care. To recap, you wanted an open relationship. He said yes, but told you if he felt a connection with someone else, then he would do the right thing and break off your relationship, rather than have an emotional affair. You agreed. He felt a connection with someone and realized you're insane. He was upfront with you that he wanted to end things. You blame wanting the open relationship on your ADHD because you were bored. You then try to claim he cheated when you're the one that wanted the open relationship. You went to his house to start a fight. When you wouldn't leave their place, she rightfully maced you to make you leave. You call her a psycho, even though you're the one that harassed them constantly. You think he was wrong for getting a restraining order against you, even though you're the aggressor. You're now blaming TikTok for your actions. Did that sum it all up? I mean, you do know how many videos on there encourage open relationships, right? What I did was my fault. I own up to it. I'm simply saying that if you're going to take ideas from somewhere, it's better to just delete TikTok. I watched the Harry Potter movies. I don't think I can shoot death beams from a stick. Sane people don't fall into stuff just because they watch entertainment. Man, I need to light some incense and make a prayer. I have yet to meet someone as unhinged as this. I popped out of one who was raised by even crazier than this, and who married one that wasn't quite as crazy to have me and my older brother with. My childhood was fun, especially during the holiday fights, parties. Did I mention I've been in therapy for over 10 years and have mental breakdowns over this? Now for the last update over 2 years later. It's been 2 years. I've tried to stay offline and live life, but my ex and his now wife find new ways to live in my head rent-free. I wanted an open relationship. So what? You don't just string me along for 8 months, get some new girl who you met because of me, and then marry her. This isn't fair. She's living in my home with someone who should be my husband, and he's been renewing the restraining order ever since it first expired. And I know he's gonna keep doing it, because for reasons beyond my knowledge, the man hates me. F my life. The story just gets funnier and more hilarious with each update. OP is among the most delusional people I've read on here. It's not her fault, it's TikTok's. It always amuses me the stuff that people blame TikTok on. The algorithm just holds a mirror up to you, that's all. Mine is just full of funny cats and people singing along to 90s bangers. The fact that she knows where they live and stalks their social media shows he's right to keep that restraining order updated. She hasn't learned a thing. And won't. Why should she learn from this? It's everyone else's fault. Her actions were above reproach. She also posted the last update on r/surviving infidelity. The level of delusion is crazy. Therapist is certainly not getting anywhere with her. Here's the thing. A therapist requires you to tell them the truth. Otherwise, they can't help. If she's constantly lying that her ex cheated on her and the new wife is crazy for no reason, a therapist can only help you move on, but will also support that OP is the victim. I went to an ex's therapy session once, and all the lies they told, that I proved they were lies to the therapist, was astonishing, to where the therapist turned to my ex and said they need to work on their lying, and maybe they should find a new therapist for that. Last story, update. My husband, 25 male, admitted that his younger brother yelled at him for how he treats me, 21 female. Original post. My husband and I have relationship issues. I have been hesitant to leave him, mainly because we have a child together, but also because I care for him a lot. He got really dark a few months ago, did and said a lot of things that hurt me, but didn't directly hit me or do anything in front of our kid. I was ready to leave him, because throughout our relationship, he never really treated me that great, and I think I was just at my limit. But when I tried to leave, he broke down and begged me to stay, so I did. He's changed since. He's been treating me like an equal being. He's been going to therapy for 4 months now consistently. He started opening up to me about things he didn't before. I've been noticing that overall, he seems so much warmer to others, not just me. Recently, we were driving and a conversation about his little brother came up. He's 22. And I was telling him about some things that his brother told me about his girlfriend. My husband randomly admitted that his brother told him to treat me better. I was shocked because I didn't think that anyone noticed or thought of our relationship like that. I never said a word to anyone. I asked him what happened, and he seemed embarrassed and brushed it off, saying that his brother just kinda yelled at him that he doesn't treat me like a woman. The crazy thing is that my husband admitted to not treating me well to me then too. I didn't know what to say, so that was the end of the conversation. Since then, he's been bringing things up randomly, asking what I like and how I would like to be treated. My question is, how do I respond to this? Or do I just let him be to do his thing? My usual response is to just brush it off, or say, whatever you want, honey. But I've been growing a bit of self-confidence, so I don't want to brush it off anymore. I'm also just still shocked that someone said something to my husband, I guess. I don't know what to think of it. Got nobody to talk to about it. Now for the top advice before reading the update. You should be in therapy too, to help you continue to gain confidence and work through thoughts like these. Keep up the momentum, don't brush it off. And please start telling him what you want. And if you don't know what you want, which is possible after years of suppressing yourself, Then get him to give you some options. You are shocked because someone else saw that you deserved better than you were getting, perhaps even before you yourself recognized that. I'm really pleased that someone has seen your value, OP. It's time that you started seeing that for yourself. It sounds like your husband is seeming like one of the 1 in a million people that mess up, learn from their mistakes, and are genuinely trying to be better. Him asking you what you want is him trying to be better. If it had only been a few weeks, then I would blow it off. But studies show that if you make a continuous effort and change behavior for over 90 days, it is a lot more likely to stick. It's why AA has the 90 and 90. So sorry he was a jerk, but if he keeps it up, let him know how you want to be treated. Make sure to let him know right away if you see any backsliding. And know your own value. I feel like people who overcome their own emotional deficits are more emotionally intelligent than people who just came out emotionally balanced. Just remember, if it happens again, there are no third chances. Internet stranger here, follow your gut before you follow my advice. I'm not there. If you're both working on the relationship, that's great. But if he stops this honeymoon period and falls back this behavior, leave immediately. No matter what he says or does, this should be the last chance. Good luck. OP, you should be in therapy as well. His treatment took a toll on you. Work with a therapist about how to respond to his request, and eventually it will become second nature with you two, both asking and giving what each other needs. Now for the update 2 months later. So I left him. Everyone was right about him. I'm safe with my daughter and my little brother. It's been a few weeks since I left. Even after I posted last time, I won't lie, I still had hope for this man. What made me decide to leave was the fact that, despite him verbally abusing me and later threatening to physically abuse me, he acted like I was the one who needed to bend over and apologize to him. It wasn't that he treated me badly that was the reason I left. It was the fact that he was stomping around and acting like a child, yelling at me and my daughter and making her feel anxious. I still tried to be nice. I tried to talk to him. I asked him what's wrong, and he just gave me that look that he always does. I don't know how to explain it, but it makes me feel so small. And he doesn't break his gaze or say anything. He just stares until I have to look away. It felt like a switch in me, and mentally, I was gone. That night I put my emergency plan in place because I already had one from a time he threatened me months ago. And a few days later, I was physically gone while he was at work. I'm not going to give details because of the possibility he can see this, but I have a new job, a new apartment, in a new city, however and wherever I want. It's so freeing. My daughter couldn't care less, and somehow that makes me happy, but also deeply sad. I should have done this a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. She's just happy that she gets to go to a park more often now with her uncle. My brother confided that he's happy he doesn't have to hear him yell anymore. My family keeps calling me. My mom keeps telling me I'm making a big mistake and that I'm embarrassing myself. I'm not even going to bother explaining myself or my side of the story. His family keeps calling me too. His mother is apparently in the hospital because of a stress-induced attack from this. My sisters-in-law sent me nasty texts and called me until I blocked them. My now ex keeps calling me too. I hate it. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. My brother-in-law only sent me one text and it said, "Good for you. I hope you find a better life." It makes me feel somewhat comforted with this whole situation. I hope he's right though. So that's my update. This will be my last time posting on here. I'm probably going to delete my account actually. And I'm completely done with relationships and will probably never get into one again. But thank you to everyone who took the time to comment and message me. I seriously feel like each one slowly built my confidence bit by bit. I know I'm a bad person for not doing it on my own, so I thank all of you sincerely for helping me. I owe everyone my new life. I wasn't going to post at first, but it feels nice to get this all off my chest. I feel like I'm going to explode with pent-up emotions lately. I call BS on his mom is in the hospital because of the stress. If it isn't a lie, then that kind of overdramatic reaction is reason enough to GTFO. Proud of you. No, she actually has been at the hospital very frequently because of stress. Her husband is the original.
My husband acts exactly like his father, except his father is worse. She works, does all the parenting and housework, while her husband and all the kids watch TV or game. Nobody ever tries to help her, and so she ends up in the hospital from exhaustion and stress. I feel bad for her, because I already know my ex probably ran back to her crying. But I also don't feel bad for her, because she also left me nasty messages that I ruined him and his life, So your disgusting ex-husband decided when he got married, he wanted to have complete control over his spouse. So he found you, an abused, lonely teenager that didn't know anything about the ways of the world, or relationships, or how to stand up for yourself. He counted on you being too scared to fight back to demand respect and equality in your marriage. He thought you would continue to be his maid and mother and not question anything. That's why he kept getting mad when you asked him to help with your daughter and help keep the house clean and to be a partner for you. He didn't want that. He wanted a submissive to do his bidding and shut up and never disagree or argue. I'm surprised he didn't have you wash his butt. Now he and his family are blowing up your phone because you are making him look bad. His poor treatment of you is coming out. Your husband wanted what society tells us is the mark of success: a job, a wife, a house, and children. So he went out to obtain these things, but his true lazy nature crept in. He wanted the prestige of all these things. He just didn't want to have to work hard to keep up with all the work that life and these things requires. Your ex-husband has a lot of growing up to do and to figure out what he really wants. Luckily you got out and don't have to listen to him screaming at you or threaten you. I would block him and all of his family. Good luck, OP.